Hey everyone, welcome to the Smart Brand Identity video post. I'm Andrew Richardson, and I'm going to be talking about creative briefs, why they are important to us as designers and marketers, and why and how we should write them. So creative briefs are super essential for designers and marketers to start the process of any sort of project. You want to create a creative brief because it's kind of the overall goals and concepts that you want to include in all your projects. It provides consistency for everyone that's working on that project, and they'll know to look back at the creative brief if they have questions about where the project's headed or something like that. And also gives a point to check back on, like if you're doing a design or something like that, you can always look back at the creative brief and ask yourself, hey, is this in line with what was originally intended? And if it's not, either you want to reevaluate the creative brief and maybe go back and change some things, or probably more likely you want to redo your design to fit the creative brief because everyone else is going along that creative brief. And if you have copywriters and designers and marketers and advertisers and just programmers all going in different directions, you end up with a really bad product and just not very consistent throughout. So those are the reasons why you should write a creative brief before you get started with anything else. It's super essential that you do this. And so the next question is, how do you write a creative brief? Well, there's a couple ways to do it. There's no one right way. There are some things that are needed for creative briefs, but there's obviously some leeway with how you write them, and depending on who you're working with, you might want to change some stuff up. But I'm going to give you some general guidelines for how to do this. Okay, so let's get right into this. So you can see here I've kind of laid out the outline of the creative brief. So if you guys want to download this, I'm going to put it up on the blog post so that you can download it and go over it, as well as a second example of a creative brief that I wrote for Smart Brand Identity when I first did the identity for it. So some of these steps are mandatory and some of them are kind of optional, but you want to get the same idea across. You want to be thinking about the same lines, but you can kind of maybe change the wording around or something like that if it works better with your workflow or with your team. So I've noted which ones are mandatory with an asterisk, so that's pretty easy. But first one up here is job description. What do you want to create? Pretty easy. Just lay it out. I want to make a poster. I want to make a website. Whatever. Target audience. Who is your target audience? What do they like? What do they like to do? What do they wear? How old are they? How much do they make? Whatever kind of details you can get in here within a certain, like, reasonable, maybe 2 paragraphs of text. You don't want to make it too lengthy because you want to keep the whole creative brief somewhat simple and short. Objectives. What do you want to see from this job? What kind of results can be specific, like how many people you want to drive to the website, or how many people you want to attend an event kind of deal, or it can be kind of general, like I want people to start feeling X about this brand. So whatever you want this job to accomplish, you want to put it here. Single-minded proposition. This is a little bit, probably the most difficult part. You want to narrow down very specifically to what exactly you want to say. You want to say one thing with this whole job. You don't want to be kind of listing a bunch of stuff you want to say. Now, the next step, the validation, is where you want to support the single-minded proposition. That's where you can say a bunch, but with single-minded proposition, you want to say one thing. Let's look at the example I did for Smart Brand Identity. So with Smart Brand Identity, I said smartbrandidentity.com is the best online resource for learning how to create an awesome brand identity. Now, that may not seem super inclusive, but it is very simple and to the point. With the validation next, you want to be listing as much as possible to support your single-minded proposition, whatever examples you can give or reasons why the single-minded proposition is true. But with a single-minded proposition, you want to say one thing, one single thing, and make sure that the audience understands that one single thing. So the result, you can think of the result as kind of a call to action. What action do you want the audience or consumer to take after they've been exposed to the job or advertisement you're creating? So say you want them to go to your Facebook page. So you want that would be the result, is to drive more traffic to the Facebook page. Communication strategy, this is kind of communicating to the designers what you want to accomplish with your aesthetics. So you want to be talking about colors and mood styles. You want to be referencing what kind of inspires you as far as what you're thinking about this job, and like maybe time periods that you want to mimic, or aesthetics you want to mimic. Maybe you want a really vintage feel. You need to talk about that here. That kind of stuff needs to be included in the communication strategy. Mandatory inclusions are whatever is necessary to be in the job. Like if you need a phone number in there, if you need a Facebook page, if you need a website page, if you need a time, a place, address, whatever needs to be in there, that has to be in there for the advertisement to work. You need to include that, otherwise designers won't know. They'll just make something very pretty and they won't have any call to action or won't have any directions to anywhere. So you want to make sure that's very clear to the designers. So that's kind of the steps of walking through the creative brief. Hopefully I've explained how to make a creative brief well enough that you guys can go ahead and do this for yourselves, and hopefully your teams will be much more manageable and you will have more consistent projects throughout. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and go to smartbrandidentity.com and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear what the creative brief is, how that creative brief is helping you, or if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up. You can contact me through my blog, or you can find me on Facebook and ask me questions. I'm Andrew Richardson. Go ahead and find me on Facebook. So the next video I will be doing is actually rebranding the company I work for, and so be looking forward to that, and hope to see you around and hear from you.